Welcome to Insomnia. Make sure you subscribe right now. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. And please leave a comment below. I do spiritual consultations. I do spiritual outlines, which takes you on your journey from A to Z, especially if you're a beginner. And I do decodings of all types, from dream decodings to anything that's going on in your life. So you make sure you email me, insomnia@gmail.com. Everything is in the description. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at HDDNWRK, which means hidden work. Everything is in the description. So, yeah. Today, or this evening, I'm speaking about crossing over. What is crossing over? Well, crossing over is when someone transcends or passes away and they leave this vehicle that is the human body and they cross over to go to the next level, to go home. Going home, which is the spirit world. You understand? Not everyone is eligible to be in that spirit world. Not everyone has a soul, and not everyone has earned a soul, to say the least. Some people are old souls that are here. Not everyone is. You understand? So, how do you help someone cross over? Let's just say that your aunt or someone just passed away and you guys were close. You know, maybe she wasn't aware of the science. Maybe she knows nothing about this knowledge, right? But you want to help and make sure that they go where you going. You want to make sure that they get to that heaven and they don't come back here and reincarnate, because they don't have the knowledge of what death truly is. How do you do that? Well, it's all about your imagination. It's all about your visualization. You create a gateway for someone to go to the next level when you imagine it. Even by drawing it, you create that gateway. For example, if you ever seen a movie, What Dreams May Come, and you see that there's a drawing throughout the movie, and that drawing becomes an afterworld, which is that person's heaven, and you see that they're in that drawing once they pass away, because that drawing was pretty much, their heaven. Now, I'm not saying you create that heaven for them, because they create their own heaven. You create the gateway for them to get to that heaven when you imagine it. You understand? Because where you go after this is all based upon what's within. So if you have that heaven within, or you have that heaven with self, you understand? That's going to be where you go after this. Literally, that's what it's all about. It's about mental, not the physical, because the physical means nothing. What you can imagine is within. That can project physically. However, also what you imagine can project even metaphysically as well, or is already metaphysical, because once you imagine it, it's already there. You understand? Like, it's already there. Like, it's been there. You're just grabbing the tools to, put it how you see fit. So now it's just there. It doesn't have to be physical, because once you create that gateway is not physical. That gateway is for spirit to move on. You understand? So, like, when you see pictures of, certain celebrities like Kobe and Chadwick Boseman, Kobe welcoming Chadwick Boseman into heaven, that's a gateway right there. When people create those pictures, it represents a gateway of them going into the spirit world. So they use Kobe Bryant as that person to welcome them into that heaven, into the spirit world, right? Now, the spirit world has levels. Wherever you're at consciously, while you're here in the mind, is where you're going to end up once you transcend. We can't look at death as something that's like the end of something. It is the end of a human cycle, but it's not something that's finished. Like, it's not done. Like, nothing. Like, everything is not over when you die. It's only the beginning of a new cycle, because you're going back home as the true self. So this is the beginning of you going back to the true self that you once were. You never didn't exist. You always existed. You understand? You've always existed. There's no such thing as you, like, you just appear. No, you always existed. There's really no beginning or end. We just are. You understand? You pretty much, you just are. You're melanin. You understand? So you've always been around. You just went into different cycles. This is your human cycle. This is the vehicle that once it slows down and gets beat up, you leave from this vehicle and you go on to the true self as a metaphysical being instead of the physical being. Now, when you're metaphysical, you can do whatever it is that you choose, whatever you imagine, you can do that. You don't have to put in any work to make something happen because it'll be instant because you're metaphysical and now you're living as the God self. You understand? Like I said, in the spirit world, there's even levels of consciousness that you go into when you go to the spirit world. Crossing over or helping someone cross over is what you visualize for them. So if someone dies and you visualize an Anubis welcoming them into a portal, you create that gateway for them. You're creating this gateway for them to cross over. You understand? You're creating that gateway. So when people draw, like I said, when they draw pictures like Nipsey Hussle being welcomed into heaven by Tupac, that's a gateway for Nipsey Hussle to go to the spirit world because you're creating that with your imagination. And your imagination is key and very key, when it comes to helping people cross over. You don't have to stay here. It doesn't take much to leave here, but if you don't have the knowledge and if you can't let this human shit go, you understand, you can remain here, But when someone spiritual helps someone who isn't enlightened on this, they help them get to that heaven, just off helping them, and if no one helps them, they have a choice whether they want to come back here or not. And it might be for them to come back here. You understand? It might be for them to come back to this plane. You understand? And that's certain people's journeys that they have to come back here. Most people don't, especially now in this age. Most people don't. You understand? But right now it's just a time of growing. It's a time of enlightenment. It's an enlightened time. So right now is that time where people can actually transcend easier now, But again, if you can't let this shit go, then you end up coming back here. You know what I mean? But you don't have to come back here. Most people aren't coming back here, The ones that actually, are trying to, transcend. People who are trying to transcend, they either get caught up being stuck here because they worried about coming back here, or they just let this shit all go and they go beyond. You understand? Some people just come to that conclusion that there's something beyond this when they do pass, But for those who don't, they either think they have to come back here or they just leave. You can get tricked into coming back here, which people do. But once you come to that realization, you really ain't gotta come back here. You just don't ever want to get caught up in the thought of being stuck. Like, what if and being worried? Because when you have that worry of being stuck, you just end up reincarnating because you worried about being stuck. You shouldn't have any worries about that shit. Just know that you're getting the fuck out of here. The key goal is to live your life and create, this life to the best of your abilities and create your heaven here, so you have your heaven already set, mentally. Because you want to leave here. How you leave here is going to be how your afterworld is. So if you leave here on some fucked up shit, your afterworld might be some fucked up shit. Leave here in a good, sustainable type of life. That's how your afterworld is going to be, So you can welcome people into that heaven, which is the spirit world, It's not even hard. It's just based upon your visualization and imagination, which is very key. And I say it time and time again. Imagination, visualization is everything. Those thoughts are realms. Thoughts are realms. So if your thought is a realm, then you creating a portal for someone is a thought and a realm. The spirit world is in the mind. Period. That's all. It's not that complicated, but it can seem complicated when you are new to this, But that's how you help people cross over, man. You can draw a picture. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. You know, you can meditate it, you can imagine it. It's that simple, man. But this is Bear Insomnia. Make sure you subscribe right now. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. Feel free to leave a comment below. You know I do spiritual consultations. You know I do spiritual outlines, taking you from A to Z, especially for beginners. And you know that I do decodings of all types, from dream decodings to anything that's going on in your life. Make sure you email me, bearinsomnia@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at HDDNWRK, which means hidden work. Everything is in the description. This is Bear Insomnia. Y'all have a lovely evening. Peace.